Okay, guys, there's several things I want to talk to you about today. On one of the last videos, we talked about bending sides and how you glue the neck block and the tail blocks, the heel block in. And then the next step of the process is to install the kerfed lining. Now, we'll talk about kerfed lining a little bit. And there's I've seen guitars that have molded kerfed lining. There's no kerfing in it. It's steamed and bent. Or I've seen the traditional kerfed lining, which looks like that right there. I guess you can see that, hopefully. And then reverse kerf lining, which looks like this. On this, the one benefit to this is that you got a flat surface, and I've always used this reverse kerf lining, and the reason I've always used it is because when I first started building guitars and I started looking into this, and I've never been taught by anyone, I just started building and learned as I went. This just looked like the easiest to make. And I make my own, and the reason I make my own is because normally when you buy this stuff, I mean, I'm sure I could figure out a way to make this if I wanted to. It's not that difficult, but this is was just easier, and I wanted it to be in full length pieces. I wanted it no seams in my lining. So I make this stuff up in like 32-inch pieces. The only drawback to this, and the only difference I see, is, of course, this is basswood, this is mahogany, but the only difference that I see is with this, you may, and I may look into this, is that this, you got a flat surface joining the side of the guitar, which there's no way that glue can run down in. When you use this, the actual kerfing is glued. The saw cuts are glued to the sides, and when you route your channels for your binding, if you go all the way into the kerf lining, which most often you will, there is a chance there that glue can run down through those and go into the inside of the guitar, which it's not something I've had it happen once or twice with thin CA glue, but never with tight bond or hide glue. But anyway, that's just a little talk about the different kinds of kerf lining. I use reverse kerfing. I'm just going to go ahead and show you all this. I go ahead and I actually stick the kerf lining, being very careful to make two lefts and two rights, with the angle pointing the proper way. And I go ahead and stick them in my bender and just shoot a little bit of water on them, and I pre-bend them like this. And that makes it much easier. You don't have to fight it when you put it in. When I install a piece of kerf lining, what I will do, that's the wrong piece, I will find the closest area to the waist, and I will clamp that. And then I will come around here. Typical in my shop, I'm always looking for tools. Come around here and I will make myself a mark and cut that off. And then I'll make myself a mark over here, and I will cut that to length. And then what I do, and I have already sanded this. This is the back. This is a 15-foot radius, and it has already been sanded to be the proper 28 or 15-foot radius, and that way when I install my kerf lining, sometimes, and I've had this happen to me before, I've installed my lining and I didn't have the sides sanded properly. And then, of course, you know, you make contact on the ends, and you have one area here that's not making contact. And then when you go and you sand all this, then you get one area where the kerfing is very, very thin, and up here it's the full, you know, almost 3/4 of an inch thick, and you get to come down here and it'll be 3/8, and I've had to cut that out and redo it. So now, before I install the lining, I sand this sides to the proper radius, so that then when I install my lining, I just leave it just a slight bit proud, and then it's easier to sand. Now, once the lining is installed, and I'm going to move this camera. You guys are being moved. High-tech stuff here. This right here is how I radius my side, the rim. This is adjustable. These screws all come loose, and these all slide. And I will. This has already been preset so that the guitar sits right in there. And it's tight going in and out. And then that is the top that is showing. And so I will take a 28-foot top dish, and this is, I have a threaded rod. It's basically right in the center of the guitar. This is screwed to the bench, and I will put this on there. Now, when I told you guys early in the beginning, I don't have a shop full of fancy tools. I just do things the way that I figured out to do them. And so I will put that on there and just rotate that like that until it's sanded. Now, that one's already sanded, so I don't want to sand it anymore. But I'll do the tops with a 28-foot dish, and I'll do the back with a 15. Now you can see that this top, I've already got the lining installed. It's already been sanded. And this block right here, I talked earlier in one of the other videos that I was going to do an arm bevel. I'm going to. I found a video on YouTube by Robert O'Brien, and I'm going by that video how I'm doing this arm bevel, and I'm going to include that. Just put a link of that video onto the forum to show you exactly how I arrived at this, and of course then I put the lining in. I've got some sanding and stuff to do, but as you can see, I am going to do the arm bevel, and I'm going to go ahead and install the lining. This is, of course, the top lining's already in. I'm going to go ahead and install the back lining. Now, one thing you want to be very, very careful of is after you've bent your side, you've glued the blocks in, you want to make sure at this point that laying on a flat surface, which that's not a very flat surface, but you want to check and make sure that everything is square. This thing is not twisted, and everything, when you lay it on a good flat surface, that everything is nice and square from the top side. Now, of course, if you lay it on the back, it's going to rock like crazy because it's so much more of a radically radiused surface. But be sure and take measurements. Make sure that your sides are not twisted, and everything is nice and square. So I guess that's it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and finish radiusing this, and then we'll move on to or finish installing the lining in this, and then we'll move on to making the top and joining, basically closing the box. So thank you for watching. See you all.